Hey guys, welcome back to TCGCritique. Today we're going to talk about marble, right? So we have the famous Ivory marble over here. We have charcoal marble, which is also known as charbel. Then we have the brown marble that no one really talks about, is the affogato. And then we have a 2.0 marble over here, right? So I'm going to talk about the famous one first. So I'm going to put these ones aside. None of these came with cards, by the way, which is really interesting. Marble's kind of old, so I think this during a time that they didn't really have cards yet. So here we have Ivory marble. And yes, it is very soft for those who never had the opportunity to touch it. It's very soft. It has pile. I don't know if you can see it here. But I would say that marble is probably the lowest pile cloth out of all the suedes that I've tried so far. And the pile is, I think, low enough that you don't really, honestly, you don't really feel it. Like this is going against the pile and it's not really interfering much, which is why a lot of people love marble. So it is soft and it's smooth, right? So it's smooth, the pickup is really nice. You can definitely feel the pile though, okay? So it's not pile-less like some people claim. It's just very, very low pile. Marble is very thin. And it does not have a backing. As you can see, this is kind of like just the mesh. Whatever the cloth it is what it is. No backing. So this is in 1-player halves. And I'll show you guys in 1-player thirds. 1-player thirds is just as good as 1-player halves, right? And then I'll show you guys in 2-player mode. So like I said, marble is very thin. So when I'm touching the mat, in 2-player mode, I can feel the surface behind me, and it's not something I really like. So it's not too bad, but I just don't like feeling the surface below me, and it's kind of harder to see. You can see like I'm just touching a little bit, it kind of shifts the mat. So that's the problem with thin mats. But in 1-player mode, it's very good. It's very good. Okay. I need to talk about the ink. So marble's inking. A lot of people like marble's inking because it's almost like you can't feel the ink, right? So if you focus hard enough, you can feel it. But if you are pinching it, it doesn't. The cracking, you can't even touch the cracking. So marble's inking it's really good, really good. That is it for Ivory. I'm gonna go over next to charbel. Charbel. Just to let you guys know, this is the error version of the Tengu mat. Tour guide mat. Okay, so this is the arrow you see by this little glue stain right here. And in the community, people know the arrow mat to be better than the general release mat. And I'm gonna make a separate video about charbel because charbel is very complicated. There are different roles of charbel. And for the sake of naming, this one is gonna be considered OG charbel, OG1 charbel, okay? And when I'm feeling back and forth, it honestly feels like Ivory. It's just, I don't really feel a difference. Although the inking on this, I can feel the inking much more than the Ivory one. So that's a thing to take away from. And I don't know if you can see here, but this ink is glossy and thicker. So that can also play a role as well. Now, in terms of smoothness, it's no different from Ivory, as I had just mentioned. I'm not going to bother going to 1-player thirds or 2-player because it's going to be the same as Ivory, right? This one has pile as well. Let's find the pile. Like I said, marble has low pile. It has pile. It's just hard to find. Like just like the Ivory, it's just harder to find the pile. But it does have pile. It's not pile-less. See, I picked up with some of the pile, but it doesn't interfere with the playing at all. Okay, so this is charbel, or rather, OG charbel. Okay, I'm gonna put this one to the side now. Now we're gonna go over to the least liked son. So this is affogato, the Madolche brown charbel, right? So just feeling across is just as smooth as Ivory and OG charbel. Some people don't know that, but this is no different. It also has just a minor pile that you would have to find because it's very low. And just so you guys can see, it is very smooth, okay? Very smooth. And this is in a 1-player halves. I'm gonna go to 1-player thirds. Demonstrating this one because it is not believed to be the same, but it is. And that is 1-player thirds, and now we are in 2-player. Yeah, so it's really the same as the rest of the marbles. I don't know why this one doesn't get any love. And now I'm gonna go over to this one right here. This one is a production era. So if you want to see the production era, it says right here, production era. Pvramid tags their production eras. So this has the red backing, and it's 2.0. Okay, 2.0 you can already tell it's thicker because you can see this hump right here. Okay, and when I'm feeling back and forth, honestly, it doesn't feel the same as all marbles. Some people say it feels the same. I can definitely blind test this and tell that it's not the same. On top of that, you see how hard it was to find the pile for the other mats? This one is so much easier. I can feel it like immediately wherever I go. Okay. Smoothness, it's probably gonna be similar smoothness. Yeah, but I can just feel like the roughness though. The cards slide well, but it feels like rough against my fingers. I don't like it. I don't like this mat personally say. Because of this red backing, it is thicker. Okay, that's what makes it Charbel 2.0. And I'll show you guys in 2-player mode. So I do have to give Charbel 2.0 some credit because in 2-player mode, you feel the surface in the back less, so it feels kind of nicer just placing your hands. But when you play it, it's just so rough. Yeah, it's compared to the OG marbles, this is very rough. I don't really recommend this mat. I'd rather just go search for another OG Charbel. And if price point's a problem, you can always just pick up this one right here. This one is not loved enough. It feels just the same as the rest of the nice marbles. I want to have some takeaway points here that you guys should pay attention to because I'm going to make separate videos on them. So we know that Ivory marble is the one that is sought after, right? So Ivory is the one that is sought after because people think it feels different. But if you get this brown one right here, it feels the same. And if you get the OG Charbel, it feels the same. Now, I'm going to make a separate video for Charbel on its own because Charbel has different roles and there's kind of a complicated history or theory about it, and I have all of the roles. So that's going to be a separate video over here. And then we're going to have a separate fun video on this one, and we're going to deback this mat to see if it feels like regular marble, because we know that backing does affect the mat itself. So that's what we have for you guys. Peace, like, subscribe.